So let's talk about IELTS Speaking Part 1. This is your chance to make a good first impression. The examiner will ask you some simple questions about yourself, your living arrangements, and maybe your family. But they're paying attention to how smoothly and naturally you are able to respond to these questions. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm going to show you phrases that's going to help you sound confident and fluent throughout your IELTS speaking exam. So let's go. For example, the examiner may ask you a question like, do you like music? Now, there is a way to just say, yes, I do like music, but let's make your response a bit more interesting. How about saying something like, yes, I can't get enough of it? This phrase actually shows that you really enjoy something, that you consistently turn back to it. Let's try to say it together. I can't get enough of it. Great, let's move on. Now, if the question is in plural form, like do you like books, you wouldn't answer with I can't get enough of it. You would actually say, yes, I cannot get enough of them. It's a small change, but it actually makes your English sound a lot more advanced and natural. And the next phrase I want to teach you is what I like most about it. So let's say the examiner asks you a question like, do you like social media? You could say something like, yes, what I like most about it is it actually helps me stay connected with family and friends throughout the world. This is actually a great way to give a detailed answer, and you're not just giving a one-word response like yes, rather you are giving the reason why you like social media as well. This is actually going to help you score a higher band, so make sure you remember this for exam day. And guys, before we move on, we actually have this lesson in PDF format. So check the link so that way you are able to turn back to it and refer to it anytime. Check the link for the description box for the PDF version of this lesson. Let's move on. And let's say the examiner asks you something like, are you good at sports? Are you good at cooking? One way to respond is with this advanced phrase. Yes, I have a knack for cooking. This means you're naturally good at something. It's a great phrase you can use on your IELTS speaking exam, so you are able to show off how confident you are in speaking English. So don't just say yes, rather try to say, yes, I have a knack for it. And if you're not good at something, instead of saying I'm bad at it, you can use phrases like I'm hopeless at it. For example, if the examiner asks you, are you good at singing? You could say, I'm hopeless at it. This adds a bit of personality to your response, and the examiner will chuckle a little because you responded so naturally with an advanced phrase. Now, let's talk about phrases you can use if the examiner asks you about something you do frequently. So let's say he says, do you like football? Instead of saying a phrase like sometimes I like football, you could use an advanced phrase like every once in a while. This means the same thing but actually makes you sound a lot more fluent in English. Or if you do something regularly, instead of saying usually, you can actually use the phrase more often than not. For example, you could say, I play footballs on Saturdays more often than not. It's a simple change, but it makes the sentence sound a lot more advanced and fluent. And remember, if you want to say, no, you are not interested, or no, you do not play football, you can use phrases like, I'm not in the least bit interested in that. This means you have no interest, nor do you find any interest in this type of sport. Or let's say if he says, do you like to sing? Instead of saying, no, I'm not interested in singing, you can use the advanced phrase, I'm not in the least bit interested in singing. It's a great way to say no without just using a basic response. And now let's move on to would you type of questions. These usually pop up in part one of IELTS speaking, and they're a fun way to practice different responses. For example, the examiner may ask you, would you like to be famous one day? You could respond with, yes, I wouldn't think twice about it. This pretty much means yes without giving a simple response. Remember that it's actually a positive way to answer a question. But if the answer is no, you could use a phrase like, no, not for all the money in the world. This pretty much means I would never even think of it. There's no chance I would ever do that. So these are 15 powerful and advanced phrases you can use on your IELTS speaking part 1 section that's actually going to help you sound more natural and fluent throughout your answers. Remember, don't try to force using these phrases on your IELTS speaking exam. Rather, try to let it come out as natural as possible throughout your answers, so that way you feel a lot more comfortable using them and it just sounds a lot more natural throughout your answers. And speaking of practice, guys, whether you are practicing with a friend, with a teacher, or in a classroom, you need to make sure you practice every single day so you see some results and some progress in your speaking. And if you're looking for a community to join where you are able to practice your IELTS speaking, then make sure you join our IELTS Speaking Club. You can find the link in our description box below. These are live sessions with myself where you will be able to show up and practice with me and a lot more other students throughout the world. If you like this video, then make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I hope to see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.